Good evening, I'm Keisha Butts with the CTV News Update. Comptroller Peter Franchot is calling on the state to use its budget surplus to help struggling small businesses. Franchot wants the governor and the General Assembly to back his proposal to send $500 million in surplus money to needy businesses. During a virtual press conference today, Franchot said his office can get the money to mom and pop shops immediately.
We should support the mom and pop stores who represent the beating heart of the state's economy by providing direct financial relief to small businesses. I'm not talking about a 20-page application that you need a lawyer or a lobbyist to fill out. I'm talking about a check being written from the state of Maryland to the small businesses that I, as the tax collector and the tax administration, have in my records. So this is fraud-free. These are hardworking Maryland families that own small businesses and are hanging on by their fingernails.
The comptroller says the state has lost about 40,000 small businesses during the first 16 months of the pandemic. In other news, on average, nearly 800 Marylanders are killed by guns every year, and advocacy groups say enough is enough. Advocates say a bill banning ghost guns in Maryland would help. A hearing on that bill, SB 387, was held in the Senate yesterday. Moms Demand Action says the measure would slow the pace of violent crimes and reduce firearm-related suicides.
Anything that we can do to buy people time to get help and to get access to resources is important. And so again, if it's not as easy to get your hands on something and you really have to go through the process of thinking about it, going through a background check, that might hopefully also buy time to save someone's life, for somebody else to intervene, for them to get access to resources, so that it's not as just easy as just ordering something online. It will hopefully make them think twice. Same thing with domestic violence.
The bill is currently in the House and the Senate. The Maryland Department of Health has revised some of its COVID-19 numbers. Yesterday, the state began adding COVID reinfections to its cumulative data. So in Prince George's, for example, an additional 4,600 cases have been added since Tuesday. As for the county's positivity rate, it continues to slide and is at 2.66%. 15 Marylanders have died since yesterday. Hospitalizations also continue to fall. They now stand at 657. The lowest since December. Nearly 200 COVID-19 cases have been reported in county schools this week. Several schools, including Laurel High School, report multiple incidents. At least 20 cases have occurred at Laurel. There were 14 at Accokeek Academy and 4 at Langley Park McCormick Elementary. Masks will now be optional for public school students in Anne Arundel County. The school board voted unanimously yesterday to end its mask mandate. The new policy takes effect tomorrow. However, face coverings will still be required on school buses. It was a final farewell today for a popular businessman. Funeral services were held this morning for Richard Dickey Shannon. He was the founder of the Horace and Dickey Seafood Restaurant. It opened in Northeast D.C. more than 30 years ago and expanded to locations in Camp Springs, Glenarden, and Waldorf. Shannon was known for advocating for young people, especially those in need of a helping hand. Services were held at Ebenezer AME Church in Fort Washington. You're watching CTV News. I'm Keisha Butts. We'll be back in just a moment.
Bring it.
Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is him.
His real name is Darion, and we call him Day for short.
Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's affection, attention, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. Just do it from the right place. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job. I'll say my kid's pretty dope.
Welcome back. Maryland Attorney General Brian Frosh urges the state's top court to dismiss redistricting challenges. There are currently 4 lawsuits challenging the legality of the plans passed by Democrats in the General Assembly. 2 separate groups of Republican lawmakers filed challenges to the plan last week. In addition, 2 individuals filed separate challenges to districts in Anne Arundel and Washington counties. The Office of the Attorney General is defending the plan for the Maryland General Assembly. Several bills dealing with women's rights in marriages are up before the General Assembly this year once again. Earlier this week, the Maryland Senate unanimously passed legislation that would raise the minimum age for marriage in the state from 15 to 17. A similar bill is currently before the House. Meantime, legislation that would ban sex crimes in marriages is under consideration. Advocates say the bills are long overdue.
Many people don't realize that marriage is a defense still for certain sex crimes. That's really archaic. It's time for that law to change. Married people, unmarried people, they need to have the same rights to say no and control their own bodies.
The spousal sex crimes legislation is currently up for a 3rd reading in the House, but so far the Senate version remains in the Judicial Proceedings Committee. As we reported yesterday, there's a new scam targeting Maryland unemployment benefits. Fraudsters are sending fake emails and text messages claiming to be from the Maryland Unemployment Office. They're scamming people by asking them to enter personal information on fake websites. Maryland State Police say this allows scammers to steal unemployment benefits.
This scam is very similar to a lot of other scams we see going on right now. Where people are asked to give personal information. These scams always, the scammers want to work very, very quickly. So that would be the top rule, is never ever click through a link or respond to anything government-wise in a text, because they just don't notify you that way.
For more information, visit the website on your screen. They have hundreds of members around the world. To date, they have documented 18 shipwrecks in 6 countries. And as Byron Scott tells us, they are not just scuba divers, they're divers with a purpose.
Last week, we introduced you to the organization Diving with a Purpose. It's a mostly black scuba diving organization that searches for sunken slave ships and other submerged artifacts of historical significance to the African diaspora around the world. Currently, they are part of a group searching for the slave ship Guerrero, which went down in the Florida Keys in 1827. Dozens of the 561 enslaved Africans on board drowned.
There's so many undocumented slave ships that have crashed and have not gotten the respect or sense of urgency like other ships, things like the Titanic.
In 2015, Franklin was with a team of divers who documented the remains of a Tuskegee Airman's plane that went down in Lake Huron, Michigan in 1944.
So we pulled up parts from there, and they were then taken to the NOAA facility up in Thunder Bay for procurement. And we got it cleaned up, and we just had a memorial. And I think it was October, I believe.
Founded in 2003, Diving with a Purpose, which has members around the world, including Maryland, is training the next generation of underwater archaeologists with its Youth Diving with a Purpose division.
We're not getting any younger, and this process of searching and documentation and research takes a long time. So we're kind of training kids to at least plant the seed of discovery. And I'm trying to get them to think about, their history, and understanding that their history, if they really want to know what their history is, they're going to have to go out and get it themselves.
For more information, go to divingwithapurpose.org. Byron Scott, CTV News.
And we'll be back with more news in just a minute. Stay tuned.
STEM is the discipline of hard numbers, precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to get messy or just mess it up. Dare to program something internet breaking, record breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to try. Dare to fail. Dare to keep daring. Dare to learn the difference between organic, sedimentary, and non-foliated metamorphic rock. Get outside, find those rocks. Dare to be homeroom famous, a high school fable. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. And for the love of STEM, dare bigger. Dare to code, dare to invent, dare to explore, dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Thank you for staying with us. A Rockville music teacher is in trouble with the law. Priyant Sundus has been charged with sexually abusing a 12-year-old student over a 2-year period. Police say he abused a girl while providing lessons at the Soundcheck Rock Academy, formerly known as the Columbia Rock School. Sundus is being held without bond at the Howard County Detention Center. Maryland awards $800,000 to a man wrongfully convicted in a 1982 rape. Bernard Webster served nearly 20 years in prison until he was freed in 2002 after DNA testing exonerated him in the rape of a Towson woman. Webster initially received $900,000 in 2003 after his release from prison, but after state lawmakers passed an updated formula to calculate how much is owed to exonerees, he became eligible for additional compensation. You live in an apartment and need broadband only to discover there's only one option for service, but that could change nationally under a new ruling by the Federal Communications Commission. The FCC just voted to improve competitive broadband access for multiple tenant environments. Locally, D.C. as well as Anne Arundel and Montgomery counties have also voted in favor of competitive internet service.
So people like me who live in a single family home, I have a choice of different broadband providers, but a lot of people who live in apartment buildings are stuck with only one choice because their landlord has cut a deal with one of the providers. So they're not getting the benefits of the better service and the lower pricing that you get when you have a choice, when there's some competition.
In its ruling, the FCC says the pandemic has stressed the importance of equity across broadband service. It says it's particularly essential for residents in low-income communities as residents rely more on telework, remote learning, and telehealth. If you have a struggling business in Laurel, listen up. The city has more than $1 million in grants available for companies hit hard by the pandemic. The programs are called the Smart Move Business Facade Improvement and the Legacy Business. The city says it's doing everything possible to help businesses.
Much like the rest of the area, they've been hit hard. We've had to kind of backtrack our idea of what we wanted to do economic development wise. We were kind of moving forward with some bigger plans within the city, but as everybody, we kind of had to pause, and now we're kind of going in recovery mode.
The deadline for the programs is July 1st. For more information, visit the website on your screen. Let's get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, the National Weather Service has issued a wind advisory for this evening into the morning. Expect showers as well as a low around 48 degrees. Friday, rain with possible thunderstorms during your morning commute, later becoming mostly cloudy with a high near 54. Saturday and Sunday, sunny with daytime temps in the mid-40s. And that's your CTV News Update. I'm Keisha Butts. Have a good night.